This is Up Close and Personal. I'm Dan Hunt, and we are live at the Aria Hotel, Casino, Spa, and Resort in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, at World CryptoCon. I am here with Adryenn, right? And you spell it weird, but that's okay. Adryenn Ashley, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You know, you and I have known each other for about a year now, and you know, we always get together, we always see each other at these events. Yeah. You are one of the most interesting human beings I've ever met.
Thank you. So,
you know what? Before we get into Loly, which you're the co-founder of Loly.
I'm the founder and CEO of Loly.
Founder and CEO.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It says CEO and founder. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I looked up and thought it said co-founder.
No.
Founder and CEO.
I'm the co-founder
of
of many amazing projects, just not this one.
Just not this one. So this one is called Loly. It's a dating app.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yes, we are.
Because it's not just a dating app. It goes way deeper than that.
And it needs to if we're going to solve the world's problems.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to solve the world's problems, but first, let's get the audience to meet you.
Okay.
And figure out who you are.
Sure.
Okay. So you grew up in
Marin County, California.
Marin County, California, Northern California, the wine country.
The woo-woo capital of the world.
Woo-woo capital of the world, beautiful.
I'm literally 1 degree of separation from the entire rest of the world. I am your 1 degree to Kevin Bacon.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm 1 degree to Kevin Bacon too, because I've worked with him. So.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. As a young girl growing up.
Yes.
Did you have a hero? Who did you look up to?
That's hard to say. So I grew up in Marin, which is pretty much the wealthiest county in the world,
right.
Feels like. Everyone else got BMWs and everything for their 16th birthday, and I grew up on welfare with hand-me-down clothes or thrift store clothes or consignment store clothes. That was like splurging.
Right.
So it was a very different growing up for me. At age 7, I started making headbands. The movie Perfect came out,
right.
And everybody was doing the aerobics, and I'd go to get the scrap stuff out of the fabric store, and I would sew and make decorated headbands and sell them to the dance store. So I'd sell them for $7. It cost me like 20 cents to make them. So I've been an entrepreneur for a really long time, and I don't know that I had a hero per se to inspire me to do that, but my mom was never going to be the person to be the entrepreneur. She was the one with the steady paycheck, the steady health insurance, the steady, with which to give me the solid foundation so that I could soar. She knew she wasn't going to be able to do that. She was a domestic abuse victim, and she was in hiding, kind of, but she was like, I'm going to give you that stability so that you can go out and do all these things.
You know, one of the things that I'm seeing here at World CryptoCon this year, as I interview different CEOs and owners of companies and hedge fund managers, they're all overachievers. You know, you started young, you kept going young.
Well, it takes a kind of personality to live on the bleeding edge and actually survive here without having a nervous breakdown.
Exactly.
Because this is not easy.
So you left high school.
I did. I dropped it. Well, so, okay, here's the thing. So I get to high school. I have never before seen a cheerleader until my first day at high school. And I went, what the hell? And I didn't realize that all during junior high school there was this thing called Pop Warner. So all the cheerleaders from Pop Warner cheerleading tried out for cheerleading. I make myself a red corduroy with white rick-rack little skirt for the tryouts. I think I am the shit. I'm like, oh no, I'm totally making it. Oh no, I totally didn't. But I became obsessed with cheerleading. And I mean 24/7. And by the time I tried out for junior varsity basketball, I was hitting all points possible.
Right.
But I wouldn't go to school. I was like a bleacher creature. I'd go to the beach, I would drop out. I just wasn't doing the work unless I was in uniform. I was the one getting thrown headfirst into trash cans, tossed downstairs, beaten up, ridiculed.
Bit of a nerd.
I was worse than a nerd. It was bad. And I really, in 7th grade actually it started, a guy that I really liked, I gave him a note.
Okay.
And he read it out loud.
Oh.
And it was like, please let me be your girlfriend. I would be just the best girlfriend ever. And then he asked me if I was a virgin, and I didn't know what that meant. And I'm having an epic battle with my then best friend who's sitting next to me. She's saying, say yes. And I'm thinking, you hate me. No. And from then on, I was a slut. So that was literally like the foundation of my social life. And it just created so many barriers. So the only time that I was ever an accepted person in high school was in uniform.
Right.
So end of junior year, I'm not really showing up to class. I don't realize that my GPA is not good enough, and nobody bothers to tell me. Tryouts for senior year song leading, which is the whole year, the most epic thing I've been waiting for my whole life. Takes a month. I'm doing tryout practice the whole month. The day before tryouts, they tell me I'm not eligible.
Not eligible.
They let me try out with my partner so that she wasn't handicapped by not having a partner. I got all points possible. I almost made it based on the curve, even without the interview. And even the people that hated me were like, that's fucked up.
So what did you do?
So I dropped out of high school and I went to college and I started a cheerleading team at College of Marin that's still there today.
Really?
Yeah.
Again, another overachiever.
Well, here's the thing. I believe that you make your own breaks. If you are going to wait for somebody to save you, you are going to be waiting a long time. And they may save you in the way that they want to save you, not the way you want to be saved.
You know, that brings me into the conversation of mindset. Mind shift, mindset.
Yeah.
So let's talk about mindset and your mindset to get you through that time, and then some of the things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. How important is mindset?
Mindset is absolutely everything, because you can have two people similarly situated with the exact same set of circumstances, and one of them is going to fly and make something of it, and one of them is going to hit a wall, crash, burn, and quit. And the only difference between the two is their belief in their future ability to accomplish whatever it is that they need to get over that hurdle to do. And that's all of it right there. Yeah.
You know, you had a brush with the military.
I
did.
A brush
with Goldie Hawn.
I did.
Private Benjamin.
She was
you were
so
Private
much
Benjamin.
more situated to being in the military than I was.
Talk about it. Tell me about it.
So, a friend of mine was taking the test, the ASVAB test. I was in college. She kept failing, and I'm like, well, I'll take the test for you, or I'll take it, and then I'll help you study, because like, I couldn't figure out how she could just keep failing. She seemed like a really normal girl.
Okay.
Apparently not. So I took the test, and I got a perfect score, and then they hounded me and hounded me and hounded me. And then I was like, there is no way I'm going to join the military. They call you by your last name. My last name was Pinkham. Pink ham and eggs. So just so you know, like this whole Adryenn Ashley persona, this is new. This is from the Army forward, because before that, I was Addie Pinkham. Yeah, so that added to a lot of the issues. So I had Addie Fatty, I had a whole bunch of other things like that. It was not good. But so I said, well, change my name and I'll join. 4 hours later, he had changed my name. And I'm like, I thought this would take months. 4 hours later. And he's like, okay, you're in and you're off to, oh my God. It was just, okay, I guess I'm joining the military.
So you joined the military. You went into what?
Communications system circuit controller. So you start with basic training. I had never fired a weapon before. I'm a perfect shot. They were surprised because I really was like, you mean you're taking my makeup away from me? Where's my curling iron, hairspray, high heels, the whole bit. So I was the Barbie doll. It was pretty interesting. And then AIT, or Advanced Individual Training, I did. The first 2 weeks of that was Common Electronic Basic Skills. I learned a 2-year electrical engineering degree in 2 weeks. And then I learned how to do telecommunications. I had a top secret security clearance because I could tap into anybody's phone calls.
How does all this lead you to World CryptoCon and the blockchain?
So I believe that I just have an ability. I have a technical ability. I can learn anything. I'm confident to try anything. I'm a good leader. I got into crypto actually in 2009. Somebody called me. I was doing startup consulting, and he goes, well, can I pay you in Bitcoin? I'm like, what's that? Like, I have no idea. But I was like, whatever. Sounds interesting. Sure, you can pay me in Bitcoin. And then I promptly lost it. So it is what it is. But I've been in for a long time in technology. I've started writing HTML for a law library for CDs instead of replacing paper.
Right.
We put them on CDs. So I was writing HTML before the internet was born.
You're a public speaker. You travel all over the world speaking on blockchain to high net worth individuals. So
I do.
Tell me about that process and what you do and why it's so important for these high net worth individuals.
So blockchain is, I already swore once, so I'm going to do it again.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Blockchain is an unfuckwithable record of what actually happened.
Okay.
This is pivotal for Loly later, just so you know. But the idea is, how is that immutable ledger going to be applied to to businesses, what new businesses can be born out of nothing based on that, and then what old businesses can be enhanced with it, right? Because it's a very energy-sucking type of thing, right? You really need to have an immutable ledger. But once you figure out the tokenomics of a project, you can see if it's going to be profitable. And what they're looking at is liquidity. So when they invest in equity, they're looking at 5 to 10 years before they can sell out. Now with tokens, they're like, even with a security token with a 12-month lockup, not only do they have liquidity, they have platforms and exchanges with which to do something with it within 12 months. So they can actually invest in more projects and help spawn the birth of this new industry. And this is why I'm so passionate about getting women involved. And I speak to a lot of wealthy women because what I want them to do is, when they're choosing their projects, look at what are the things that are going to move the world forward? What are the things that are going to help the most people? Not just the 26 people who got to invest in Filecoin in 15 seconds.
Right. Okay. So
those were all dudes.
Yeah, they were all dudes.
I was right there trying to hit the button.
Get in. Let's move on to Loly.
Yes.
Loly. What is Loly?
So I was lying alone in a Las Vegas hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Lying alone in Las Vegas. Okay, go ahead.
My roommate had gone out on a Tinder date and was clearly getting laid, and I was awake, horny, and had absolutely no way to solve that problem. I'm swiping, and I realize at 2 a.m. they've already found somebody or they're already asleep. None of the other apps give me enough information. We women need safety, security, and certainty to say yes. There was none of that.
Safety,
security, and certainty.
And certainty.
So what I built with Loly, what we have is a digital ID, because 30% of the men who ask me out are married.
Right.
They need to stop that. So a digital ID with reputation.
Okay.
We match you based on sexual compatibility. But there's also a staking mechanism. So your friends can say, this is a great guy, he's gonna show up, he's funny, you're at least gonna have a good meal out of it. And it's like, okay, that's worth shaving my legs for. I'll go out to dinner with this person. So that's how we built it. And we also,
dating on the blockchain,
yes.
High-tech dating on the blockchain.
Well, it's the consent piece, because this whole Me Too epidemic did not have a solution, right? And that's really where it started, is logging consent on the blockchain.
Right.
So instead of, well, she said yes, or I thought she meant, it's you either have consent or you don't. You either open a consent window, have fun, close out the consent window like a post-nup, and then you rate each other. And you're not rating each other, really. What you're doing is informing the AI how good the matching was and what could be tweaked or what wasn't exactly right, so that the next time we match you, it'll be better. Because I think that if everyone had an orgasm a day, we would have world peace. And that truly is my entire point, right? But you have 70% of women on mainstream dating apps right now that have been unwillingly celibate for more than a year. I was 99.9% celibate for 7 years. I just had a boyfriend now. Thank goodness. Let me tell you, that dry spell was no fun. And it was off. And I'm sorry, have you looked at me?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I'm sapiosexual. So if you're
wait.
stupid,
Let's
it doesn't work.
Let's take a step back, okay?
You can't be stupid.
What's sapiosexual?
It is a sexual attraction to smart people.
A sexual attraction to smart people.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
So that already limits my dating pool down to like 3%.
You took the ocean down to maybe a 20-gallon aquarium.
And then it gets smaller from there.
Okay.
Because then there's your preferences. So what we did was we knew, based on our focus group, that women, when you're looking to get laid, the last thing you want to see is a wall of cock shots. Like,
right.
That's not how we choose.
Right.
You got to get here. So what we did was we did sexual typing, preference typing, by ice cream flavors. So if I say a Rocky Road and a bubble gum don't go together, you kind of instinctively know that I'm right without having to understand the naughty underlying reasons why.
Right.
It makes it easier to say, oh, he's just not right for me, not he's not into me. He's not right for you.
So it takes that fear of rejection off the table.
Because it's exclusionary. We're not going to set you up with anybody that isn't right for you. And the idea is when you're swiping through Tinder, God forbid Bumble, okay, I'm cute. On Tinder, if I say yes, it's always a yes. They've already said yes to me. On Bumble, I'm like, oh, yes, oh, treat. I'm like, oh my God, they're so perfect. They're all perfect because they're fucking curated. They're not real, and they're never there, and they never respond because they're not actually there. And I know this because my friend's boyfriend was on there. And I went, dude, why are you on Bumble? He goes, I'm not on Bumble. And I said, screenshot it. I'm like, you're on Bumble. He goes, that's my Tinder profile from 5 years ago before I started dating Alicia. And I'm like, what? So they scraped them.
So they scraped them all, put them on.
Somebody did. I can't say Bumble did, but those are not real people.
So where are you in the process? I know Loly's not out there yet. It's
Loly's
in
not out
R&D, or where are you?
So we've built it a couple of times, torn it down a couple of times. We're rebuilding it right now. We're selling lifetime memberships.
Okay.
So we're doing our token generating event, which I say is a user generating event.
How much is a
$99.
lifetime member? $99.
$99.
So it's not a lot of money.
No. And that's the whole point, right? So you have all these token sales where it's like $25,000. I'm like, no, you can buy a useful amount. This is a utility. It is to be used to boost, to upgrade, to add some radius, to get some matchmaking help, to add filters. You know, there's lots of things you can do inside the ecosystem with the tokens.
When will it be available?
Next year.
Next year.
Next year.
So 2019, you're going to be up and operating. But you have a site now for the token sale.
I do. Loly.io.
Loly.io. So you can just click the link right below here and go to loly.io.
LOLY.io.
And the link is right there.
Yes.
And we are really looking forward to this.
I am too. Thank you so much for having me. It's
hey,
just
thank
a
you
pleasure.
so much. It's really always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to be with you and able to sit down and talk.
Thank you.
I'm Dan Hunt from World CryptoCon in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Aria Hotel Resort Casino Spa, saying have a great rest of today and an even better day tomorrow.